I might need more coffee if I'm starting this off today. So, good morning, FinTech world. How is everybody today?
Good morning, Jen.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
team.
morning.
So, Dr. O sprung that at me. I'm drinking my giant cup of coffee. Thank you very much because I need it today. So it's a beautiful fall day, and everybody here is super excited because our kids have all gone back to school. So the kids are connecting again. So that's really good. So that's about all I have to say until I get more coffee in me. So take it away.
All right. I've already had. I'm on my
Wait,
second tea.
Ben,
So.
Ben, one thing.
No
not,
kid.
It's not fall yet.
It's
It's still summer.
Thea's
late
hanging
summer.
on.
You, Thea. I still want to go to the beach.
Summer day.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's a nice
Holidays are
hot
here.
day.
It is hot. So
Let's go hit the beach instead of doing lunch. Let's go hit the beach.
It's fall. I did my fall nail color yesterday.
there you go.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. Listen, let's get started in earnest here. It does feel like fall. Obviously, things are getting cooler. And Jen said she's super excited today. I'm not super excited. I just had a birthday, and that used to be a time to be excited, but not so much anymore. And my terrific staff is taking me out for lunch today. So thank you beforehand for that. All right. Couple of things that I want to discuss. First of all, to get started, let me just tell everyone briefly about my old college friend, Crazy Tony.
Oh no.
Jen and Jackie, you had the pleasure of meeting Crazy Tony on the phone, right?
Wait. Is he back in the picture again?
No.
Dating her again?
Crazy
Not
Tony
dating. I don't mean that. I meant colloquially dating, not really.
Crazy.
Dr. Jackie said let her in on her phone.
I can't. It won't let me.
Oh,
Crazy Tony
Oh, God.
was named Crazy Tony for a good reason. He was certifiable. He was a nice enough guy, but he was certifiable. So among his many pathologies was a gambling addiction. Crazy Tony loved to gamble. Yeah. And he would go to Vegas all the time, and he was always betting on sports. And he had this theory. He would bet on the team when he was betting college football. He would bet on the team that had the better looking cheerleaders. This was his theory. And he actually made some money doing this. It's as good as any other system, I guess. But what does this have to do with health and weight loss?
You ask.
Nobody's going to guess this.
Oh, I get it. You're betting on the system that has the best looking staff. Just saying.
Okay.
That'd be
We can
us.
go with that. No,
Good corollary.
listen.
Come on, I tell my
Crazy
husband all
Tony-
the time. You know I'm hot to trot.
This was Crazy Tony's theory, right?
Lord.
It wasn't an accident. There was a method to his madness. His theory was that the better-looking cheerleaders would get more attention from the crowds, thus draw them in, thus the crowds would get more engaged and energized, and that would create momentum for the team.
Okay.
This was his theory, huh? It's not that stupid.
It's interesting.
Okay.
So this brings us to our topic for today. Today I wanted to discuss momentum.
Got it.
Because people have to realize that momentum is a real thing. I want everyone who's listening to take that in. Momentum is real. Momentum counts. Momentum is a combination of forces. The more forces going in the same direction, the more momentum there is. It works in the negative and the positive. If the train is going downhill, a lot of us like to fool ourselves and think that it's not going to continue to go downhill by some crazy circumstance that's written in the stars. It will continue to go downhill.
Right.
Right? Jen, you had something to say.
Well, I was going to say it sounds like physics, like bodies in motion stay in motion, but it's actually a spiritual conversation I was having with someone this morning, Thea, about which is why I'm like still not drinking coffee. Which is the more upbeat we are, we pull people up. But the converse is true. The reverse of that is true. If we go down with the people who are down, we kind of stay down there. So the momentum should be upward.
It should always be upwards, ideally, right?
Yeah.
Any other
Yeah.
thoughts on just this understanding of momentum? What does momentum mean to you guys?
It's a
Momentum means
Hmm.
positivity to me. Like, you know, you're going in an upward trend, things are going the way you're supposed to be, and you feel good about life. You know,
Yeah.
whether it be your success in weight loss or it be your success at the fact that you set simple goals like, I'm going to make sure that the kids are up and ready and dressed every day at this time, and they're going to school with a positive attitude. You know, it's all positive stuff. Jackie said, drive the push and your focus.
Jackie,
Yeah.
so now we have to translate and interpret what Jackie has to say. She can usually speak for herself quite well. Jackie, just use hand
Use
signals.
sign language, Jack.
okay, Monica.
Yeah, seriously.
So I think momentum it can be good and bad. It's just about, our mindset. So whatever your mindset is, if something is happening and it's a negative, then a lot of the times a negative comes along because you're attracting the negative. So your momentum is down. So it takes a little bit more effort than to get it back up when it's spiraling down.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this can get pretty geeky here. I mean, you can talk about physics, but like, Jen said, is that it works in the spiritual realm. And like Thea is suggesting, it works mentally and emotional as well. There is something called inertia also. Newton said, bodies in motion stay in
Stay
motion.
in motion. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the literal definition, or at least one of them that I have here, is momentum is the force that exists in a moving object. So it very much has to do with motion. So I like I said, I do want people to embody this understanding that momentum is a very, very real force, even if you can't see it. Obviously, if an 18-wheeler is going downhill, you can see the momentum. But it's real for us as well as people. It's real for our health. So, Trisha, question.
Yeah.
How do you personally try to assist your momentum, regardless of which direction it's going? Pardon me.
I feel like one small change makes you want to keep going upwards. So like maybe before starting program and stuff, like just taking one thing out of your diet that may be making you spiral downward a little bit. Like take sugar out of it, and then that does make you feel better. So it makes you want to keep going. So I feel like one small change can drive your momentum upward.
Got it. So if it's going in the wrong direction, if you could do one little thing,
one
and at least
little thing,
slow
that
it down,
changes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Rebecca, how about you? What do you do when you feel that a change of momentum is necessary?
I think it's similar to what Trish said. Just kind of start moving in the right direction, and then the rest will follow. Yeah, take that one step forward. Sometimes it just takes that one little change to get things going.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing about momentum, since it has to do with force, the more forces that we could align that are going in the same direction, then the more momentum we can build. And
Correct.
the reason I say that is because what is the best way as people that we can kind of combine and align forces?
Good
All right. Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to send coffee to
that's a good
everyone.
question.
I don't know.
That is a good question.
Yeah, so we were kind of having this conversation today, so I'm a little bit like philosophied out. But I think when you have to put your attention on, sorry guys, you have to put your attention on what it is that you want, and you have to align yourself with people who have similar purpose in life.
Correct.
And you have to look at what might be creating a negative force in your life and kind of call that out, and then just make sure that everything that you're doing is pointing you on that purpose line to the direction you want to go. So, and if you align with similarly minded people, again, it gives you more, again, it's a physics thing, but it's a spiritual thing, because spirituality is also energy. Like, people don't realize that. And it bleeds into physics, but it's like more bodies in motion create more motion.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the best ways to have a support system. Take a kid who's growing up and all he wants to do is to be an artist. And his parents keep telling him that that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to a kid who wants to be an artist and his parents are very supportive of it.
Right.
You know, who's going to have more momentum towards that goal of becoming an artist?
Right.
Rebecca, you're an artist. Did that play itself out in your family? I mean, did you have to go against those opposing forces, or were all those forces aligned with you?
Oh God, that's such a loaded question. I think that they, excuse me, I think my family supported me in the best way that they knew how.
Right.
But there was definitely the underlying thought that, you know, this is not realistic, right? You need to have a realistic goal.
Sure.
You know, you need to something to fall back on. So it definitely was not that whimsical, like, you know, just go for it. If you put your energy into it, it will follow. So I did definitely have to kind of step outside of that box and kind of step away to free myself of that mindset. Because honestly, the people that I know who made it, you know, much bigger than I did, all my friends that are, you know, still on Broadway and in movies and TV, you know, they never had a doubt. There was never a doubt. These are people that just said, this is what I'm going to do. Right. And they did it. There was no choice for them. So there you go. So
if you had more of that, you would be Lea Salonga?
I would not be here. Yep.
You would not be.
I'm sorry. I would be going back on Broadway right now.
Well, that would have been our loss.
So Jackie just
if
said,
you end up back on Broadway, I want tickets. Someone said something.
I said, Jackie said, if you want more, you have to surround yourself with the opportunities, take the chances, make the change, and give yourself a chance. You have to want it.
You have to want it, and that's where it starts. But you have to have an appreciation for those forces that are going against you, right?
Yeah.
As Rebecca was saying. And also those forces that are going towards, you know, that you have going for you, pushing you in the right direction. So we talk about with people on the program to actually have conversations with their skeptical friends, their frenemies, you know, to proactively say, hey, can I have your support? Because imagine trying to do something that's great for your health, and then all your friends are making sniping comments. And causing those little seeds of doubts.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen, have we seen people on the program that have been completely sabotaged by that?
All the time. Yeah.
Anyone come to mind? No names.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there's one person in particular who does really well, but then she says her husband loves her so much he brings her dessert all the time. I'm like, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
That is the So you know, people mean that. There is a certain amount of not understanding, lack of understanding when people are trying to help like that, and there's a certain amount of subversive sabotage going on because there are certain elements of people who, unbeknownst to them or others, don't want to see their spouses or friends or whatever succeed. So, and it's not even operating up here. It's like kind of behind the scenes. They don't even realize it's happening. So,
right. It can happen in a very subtle way, right? In a way, you're better off if people oppose you directly.
Correct.
And your goals than you are if people are just influencing you with innuendo or whispers or something overt like that.
We had a family situation that we had two family members, one who would spit in your face and the other one you were constantly pulling the knife out of your back with her. And I said, hands down, I'd rather wipe the spit off my face than pull the knife out of my back.
Well, that's astute of you, and also thank you for the graphic representation. Lea, you were shaking your head when Jen was talking. What were you thinking?
What was I thinking?
Yes.
Like
if
Jen
you can share it.
Yeah, like Jen said, a lot of people, like the husband, really was not wanting to see the wife succeed. She was probably looking really good, and he was probably getting a little jealous. So that's why he was bringing her some cake.
Right.
Whatever.
It's bizarre.
Isn't that interesting?
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, a lady comes to mind. She did the program. It changed her life. I mean, she was a beautiful woman, but she was 70 pounds overweight. And so she lost all of this weight. She looks fantastic. She felt fantastic. And yet all of her friends sniped at her.
Yeah.
To the
Jealous.
point where she would bawl and say, I don't understand it. Why can't these people support it?
Yeah, it's definitely jealousy.
Sometimes it's a jealousy thing. People don't want to see you get ahead of them,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, it's
People don't want to
definitely
see you
jealousy.
succeed when they fail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also it's a fear of being left behind. So
Mhm.
Right.
FOMO,
that
and
too.
this is FOBO.
FOMO. That's
FOBO.
FOMO.
FOMO.
Oh, no,
The
I know.
fear of missing
FOMO,
out.
like fear of being left behind. It doesn't.
Oh, there you go.
You're creating things, fold.
I am. I'm trying. I'm in the create mode. Despite my lack
Fold.
of caffeine. Don't
Acronym Jen.
acronym Jen. So people don't always like change. So if you're
Yeah.
changing, they're afraid that you're going to move beyond them, or it's like a mirror being held up to them. Like they have to change now, and they don't want to because they're comfortable in their mud.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Jen, as you were saying it. It's the fear that they're not doing enough. It's
Well,
near being held up, and
right.
it makes them feel less than. Which what you were saying in the beginning, if we could all lift each other up rather than tear each other down to feel the way that we might be feeling, those negative, self-talk feelings. Wouldn't it be so much better, right? Allow yourself to be inspired by this person that is doing so amazing,
Right.
as opposed to being jealous or fearful or whatever else.
Well, my take on it is that we have to try to proactively create that. So instead of waiting and maybe till we're in a social situation and someone sees us eating differently and then starts to ask questions and maybe they're a little skeptical and thinking that they have a better way, we should proactively say to them, yes, I'm doing a detox. Don't get involved with weight.
Yeah.
I'm doing a detox. I feel terrific. It's really cool. And if they say anything negative, hey man, I really need your support on this.
Right.
So it's funny. I came across that when I did the program 5 years ago. I had people ask me what I was doing, and I'm pretty much an open book. I don't really care. I just say what's happening, whatever it is. And I didn't have the tools at my disposal that we give people to help them out. So I was like kind of on my own with it. But people would be like, "That's not healthy," and that's not. And I would go like this. Literally, I would put my hand up and I would say, you know what? I've actually looked into this and I'm pretty comfortable with it. It's in alignment with how I've lived my life. And it was like, and I don't care what's coming at me from the outside. It was, this is how I am and this is what I know and it's working for me. And that was it. And it never really, I had like 3 people say something.
Yeah.
Question it. I had people say, you're getting too skinny. I'm like, we don't know what health looks like anymore in this country. Like that's always my line. We don't know. We're supposed to see collarbones. Like people see collarbones and you're too skinny. You're all bones. No, actually.
Yeah, and Jen, everyone has a different threshold of what might affect them, and I've seen it run the gamut from people who just bulled through, regardless of what they heard, to people who actually would stop doing the program because of it.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Right. So again, I really feel like if we work to align our vectors or our forces, then we have to face a lot less of that. And now, let me put something out there. Would everyone agree with the premise that maybe the first fault, the first way we sabotage ourselves is to not anticipate that when we start on something new, whether it be a weight loss program or whether it be a new career opportunity, to not anticipate that there will be forces that are kind of aligning against us and having a strategy for handling it.
That's actually interesting. When I went back to school for health coaching, there was a form letter that we were given, and the school suggested that we send it to all of our family, friends, colleagues, coworkers, whatever, to say, I'm embarking on this program. It's very intense. It's going to be 12 months of my life. I need your support. I will not be able to attend functions or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember, to like give people awareness, a reality of what was happening, that it wasn't them, that they did, but that this was something that I was doing for my life, very, very positive for my life, and that I needed their support and understanding. So actually, I forgot about that. Until
How did that work for you?
I didn't send it because I didn't really care what people said or did. For me, I didn't need it. For somebody who needed like some support, that would have been good. I just did my thing because that's kind of how I operate. But people, I do know two other friends who had done this program before, and I got a letter from them. I was like, "Ooh, they did it. They did the letter. It worked for them. They plowed through. I just, whatever."
It sounds like a reasonable strategy. I mean, listen, so we're all from the New York area, and a lot of us have a very like F you attitude. Someone doesn't like what you're doing, you know? It's just F you and move on, and who cares what you think anyway? But it's still just something else that we don't need in our way. It can be hard enough to accomplish things in life. And, you know, I used the phrase before, aligning vectors, and that actually comes from, there's a philosopher who said something, and this may not be exact, but it'll be close to it, is that if you align your vectors, you will move like a hot knife through butter.
It's
Right?
funny. I almost said vectors before, and I changed it to something else.
Well,
So.
a vector, again, this is a geeky physics thing, but it's anything that has kind of a force and a direction, right? Like think of an arrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. Good. Any other thoughts come to mind about this topic?
Well, there's one thought that I had. We had one client that through a pandemic, through everything, she never let her momentum come down. And she just posted the other day, it was 175 pounds that she lost naturally.
Yeah.
And we have to remember, like, look at someone like this individual that said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get helping. And we have to take it for the struggles that we have. We have to remember that they're going to be struggles, but we could still keep that positive momentum in the right direction.
Right. But even her, even she, there were times where she wanted to stop.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
With all that momentum, right? With everything going in the right direction, there were times that she wanted to stop because I guess she was just being like very reasonable about it. Well, I want to wait. I want to whatever.
I'm done.
And you're her coach and you pushed her through.
There were times that she was not fond of me. I would have that conversation. I'd be like, you need another round. We need to finish this. See these numbers, they need to be in the green. And she's like, I'm not doing it. And then I would let it go. And then I would ask her again. And I'd say, let's figure out how we can get this done. Like the last round was through this summer. She loves barbecues. So I sat with her and planned out barbecue menus to set her up for success. So. Yeah.
You know, Rebecca, when you talk to people before they even come in. Do you find that they're sometimes kind of reasonable about their goals? Like you'll say to them, how much weight do you want to lose? And they'll say, well, I really need to lose 80 pounds, but I'd be very happy with
Oh my God, every time.
Yeah.
Well, 20. It's probably really 40, but I'd be happy with 20. I mean, I can't tell you. And I can't tell you, I feel like the most important part of what I do all day is talk people out of talking themselves out of coming in. And it's just for the consultation. Like they're not even, you know, I hear people and the dialogue and, you know, also what they're telling themselves. There's so many reasons why they, you know, shouldn't come in yet, or why it's not a good idea yet, or worrying about the steps that come so far after just, you know, coming in to meet with us that first time.
Right. Yes. Like they're on the program day one or before they even start. Well, what am I going to do after I lose the weight? You know, well, get out of the fiery building, and then we'll worry about how to keep you out.
Exactly. So many times I'm like, put the oxygen mask on yourself. Don't worry about it. Just take this step. Just take this step and come in. And oh my gosh, people can reason themselves out of anything. I mean, we all can, right? So I think on those days, you know, in those moments, in those days that we've been talking about, it's like, that's when you just need to fake it till you make it. And you don't think about it. I can talk myself into doing anything bad or out of doing anything good for myself on any given day.
It's much easier to talk yourself into the bad things. And in fact, if you want to do a fun experiment with your kids, offer them something that's good to do, like clean their room, do their homework, and then offer them something that's not going to be so good for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Eat ice cream, play in traffic, and see which one they're more enthused about. I guarantee you they're going to be more enthused about the thing that is not good for them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even with food, the same thing. If you give them choice of broccoli or ice cream, they're going to want the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I think most of us feel that way.
It's funny too. There's a misconception in their minds about what their own health is, and they have no reality on what their actual weight and health numbers should be. And part of that is their doctors. So, like, I have somebody I know that was told that they should be 150 pounds. The doctor would be happy with that. And I was like, she's 5'2". Like 150 pounds for someone who's 5'2", that's a lot of weight to carry around. But she had no reality on what her actual number should be because the traditional medical community doesn't really support weight loss or healthy weight loss. So they don't give them, they just say, you need to lose weight. They don't give them parameters. They go by those charts that are ridiculous. So I was talking to a client yesterday who, she should probably be about 150, but her charts say she should be about 125. I'm like, oh my God, she'd be emaciated at 125.
Right.
So
it's funny that you say this, Jen, because if we were going to sit down and write up all of the opposing forces that would prevent us from achieving what we wanted, we wouldn't necessarily think at first that the experts would be part of those opposing forces, but very often that they are, with just bad data.
They don't have nutrition. They don't have nutritional training, and they don't have true nutritional training. They have like industry training.
Yeah, and that's true in a general sense, right? We don't want to paint everyone with the same brush. But that's true in a general sense. And in a general sense, also, a lot of times the advice is just very kind of glib. Like, eat less, exercise more. It frustrates people. When I do a consultation and they tell me that, they're so frustrated by that.
Yeah.
When they've been doing that for years. How cute is Jackie? You deserve to be the best version of you, she says.
Where is that?
Well, and I think
in our chat, and then it says, she also says, like, my kids can be full, but no matter what, naturally they'll ask for dessert. And isn't that true of anybody?
It's kind of comforting to see that Jackie is just as loquacious even when she's typing as she is when she's actually on the.
Oh, look at her smile.
So
you're like a little fish behind a little fish bowl.
Poor thing. Let's wait. Can I just isolate her? How would I do that? How would I just isolate Jackie's picture? Let's see if we can do that. Right. That's.
No,
hold on. Wait. Can I do it? Yep. Wait. Here we go. All right. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Is she dancing?
Swimming.
She's swimming.
She's swimming. Do the fish lips. There you go.
You know what? This has to be the most torturous thing for Jackie. Nobody can hear her right now. It's making her nuts. Look at this poor thing. She's going to end up in an asylum. All right, listen. So let's end off. Let's not torment people too much, including Jackie. Hold on. How do I switch it? I don't know how to switch it back. How do I get everyone on here? Okay,
there
good.
You go.
Here we go. So again, to end off, I want everyone to understand that momentum is a real thing, regardless of which direction it's going in. So you do want to step on the gas when things are going in the right direction. Yeah. Don't break. Don't stop yourself. Certainly don't allow other people to stop you. When things are going in the wrong direction, you need to learn how to brake as well. The train that's going downhill will continue to go downhill until there's some pretty strong force that opposes it. So understand that as well. So our contribution is we're able to help in both instances. If the train is going downhill, we're able to support you and stop that. And if the train is going in the right direction, then we're able to kind of, get behind you and push as well. And as Jen said, sometimes in a pretty annoying way. But if that's what it takes, then that's what we're willing to do. All right. Yeah. So on that note, that's our closing bell. So I guess we get into school now. And everyone say goodbye.
Bye.
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 Guys.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.